Hi, I'm Elisabeth Dawson, and welcome to Ways to Love Your Money. I have a beautiful guest with us today, and she's in the title insurance world, and I can't wait to hear more about it. This is Miss Ellen Kardashian. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes. So
Pleasure.
how are you today? You took a drive down here from Carlsbad to come see us, so we're really honored for you to have taken the drive, and just would love to know a little bit more about you, and I know our guests want to know a little bit more about you too.
Okay. Well, I started out as a real estate agent.
Okay.
Many years ago, but I worked in the industry for 10 years.
Okay.
And then I had an opportunity to go into the title insurance business, so
Sure.
I made that change, which has been a great career for me. It's been roughly 30 years I've been in it. So I've learned a lot as a professional. And I also took over my husband's music company when he passed, and I ran that for 2 years.
Wow, how interesting.
Yes, that was much different than real estate.
I'm sure.
And then
sorry for your loss, though.
Thank you. Yeah. And then I got into the escrow side of it, which was another challenge, and I was in sales for escrow for about 4 years.
Okay.
And then I moved to the desert and stayed in the escrow side. Then I moved here to San Diego 7 years ago.
Okay.
So, and got back into the title insurance business. So that's what I currently do.
That's so great. I mean, we all have our life stories, right? It kind of leads us in one direction or not. But you have, I think, a child as well. So
I do. I have one daughter.
okay, good. And then you have a couple grandbabies, right?
I have two granddaughters, 14 and 15.
I know, and it's amazing to think that, I mean, I don't have the grandchildren yet, but my kids are of the age to start having kids, so I have no idea when that's going to happen, but I think when it does happen, it'll be a little bit more fun than when I was just raising them as a single mom. You know, that was not always easy, so yes. Well, good. So let's travel a little bit to what you're doing now. You're in the title insurance world, and you've been doing that for about 7 years, I think you said.
Well, I've been in title insurance for 30.
Oh, 30. Okay.
Here in San Diego for 7.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about what the importance of title insurance is, because so many of us have to have it when we purchase a home or purchase, investment properties. So what's the importance of title insurance for the consumer?
Well, it's not a law, first of all, that you have to have title insurance. But if you're on the buyer's side and you're taking out a loan against the property, the lender will not loan without title insurance. They want to be secured in their position. And the seller is actually giving the buyer a policy of title insurance so that when he or she purchase, they're free and clear of any liens, loans, or anything that has happened to the property in the past. So
it's kind of clears everything.
Yes. So title insurance is for the history of the property.
Okay.
And it's very important because there could be, if you don't have title insurance, there could be a lot of flaws and a lot of web nest involved.
Well, I think that's a concern because most people, I think, out there don't even understand what title insurance is all about. They know they have to have it to close escrow if they, like you said, have a loan on it. But I think you mentioned to me, too, that it's not mandatory you have to have it, but if you have a loan, you have to have it.
Yes.
And you pretty much want it as a consumer,
and every
right?
seller provides it for the new buyer, so he knows that, the property that he's acquiring is now his in his name and free of anything that had to do with the history.
Any bizarre stories you'd want to share of things that you've experienced with that? Anything like that?
Oh, yes, there's many.
Oh, is there?
There are many, and sometimes we like to make sure that because the preliminary title report goes out in advance, that the real estate agents see it and they can share it with their clients that are selling or buying, so that there aren't any complications at the end of a transaction.
Okay.
So when we get ready to close, there have been, if there's any issues, they're taken care of during that 30-day, 45-day.
It's interesting because I have a family member that just went through something like this. And they wanted to come re-inspect the property because they're selling it after 42 years.
Oh, wow.
And there was a couple of different things that were still open for permits on the city.
Oh, sure.
And they didn't know necessarily what to do. The inspector came out last Friday, I have to happily say, and they just were there for about 5 minutes, walked through and said, okay, everything's fine.
Yes. It's important that the permits, once they're pulled, and the property is completed, whether it's an addition, that they go down to the county and record it, and sometimes that doesn't happen. So this is why when this does come up.
So this is the protection component.
Yeah, it'll show permits, but it's going to show the property as being a 3-bedroom instead of a 4-bedroom.
Okay.
If that's what they've added on. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think it's great for us to know that because that's protection for ourselves when we're buying real estate. So I know that you predominantly are in the La Jolla area. Is that kind of like your center place there?
It's a big part of my week.
Okay.
You know, I do have Monday through Friday, and then sometimes on the weekends I work as well.
Okay.
But I have a very large area that I do cover.
All right.
The majority is La Jolla, but I'm in Rancho Santa Fe. I'm downtown.
Okay.
I can work anywhere I want to work in San Diego, or
That's
actually
great.
in the state of California.
Is that right?
But there's only so many hours in the day, so
Yeah,
so you try not to spread yourself too thin. You want to be with your clients and do the best job you can do.
Sure, sure.
So-
And you've been doing this now almost 30 years.
30
you
years,
said. So you've got a passion for it. You love
I
it.
do.
I know people when they love real estate, it's one of those things. It's a love or hate. They just either absolutely love it or it's not something they want to be involved with at all. But it sounds like you found a true love for real estate and the places that you've been, working in that industry for.
Yes, I mean, and there's just a variety of people that you meet on a daily basis, which is really what I enjoy, because it's all about relationships.
Okay.
You create those relationships, and sometimes, your clients become your friends. You've worked with them for so long.
Sure.
So, but you have an opportunity to work with the mortgage side of it, the escrow side of it, and inspectors, just a variety. So it's never a dull moment. There's a lot that's involved in a transaction, and some are a little more complicated than others. But I do commercial as well.
Okay.
And work with lenders.
Okay. Okay.
So
who's your main client? Is it the real estate agent? Is it the banker? Is it the mortgage professional? Who or just escrow?
Well, all of the above,
all of the
because
above. Okay.
I deal heavily with the escrow side and also with the lender side.
Okay.
Probably the real estate agent is where I make the connection
Okay.
and set up the appointment one-on-one. I think when you sit down to speak with somebody, it's a lot easier to develop that relationship
Sure.
than trying to do it over an email or a text. So I set up appointments and meet with them and tell them what I can do to help them and what my background is, what we can do as a company.
Well, you just said how you can help them. So how can you help the consumer out there right now?
Well, we have quite a few things that we can help the real estate agents with. Now, first of all, you have to remember the title company is what holds all the documentation. So when a real estate agent is going out to take a listing, the first thing they do is to call us.
Okay.
Okay, so I want my clients to call me.
Okay.
Say I'm going after a listing, this is the property address, and so I can get them the information that they need to professionally determine whether they want this listing or not.
Okay.
And know all about the property, so when they sit down with the potential seller, they have that opportunity to get the listing right then and there. So that's the beginning, the onset of it. And then there's all kinds of things during a transaction that we're here to help them with. And education is real important on our side, to help them understand. Most real estate agents understand escrow, lender, and title, but it's everything that's put together. That's what they need to hear. So they depend on me. They call me. I answer every question that they have.
And they can't do the transaction without you.
No, that's true. But the real estate agent is there to sell and to know their industry. They're not there to know everything about escrow and everything about title and everything about the lending side.
Right.
But we're here to help them with that.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned the story, right? So we have a real estate agent that's actually a big part of our show. His name's Jonathan Olo. I don't know if you've ever met him. Maybe you need to meet him. But he looked at a client situation for one of ours, and he's in the Hillcrest area, and it's zoned, I guess, for an additional 3 properties or buildings on his property. And he pulled up the title report to see what the zoning was, because at first we thought it was just residential, but it's actually zoned for multiple units. So he went to his title person to get this information.
Sure.
And we don't know what we have. We don't necessarily know what we have.
So we're the keeper, basically, of all the documentation, because we're the ones that send it to the county to record.
Okay.
And then that information comes out within 24 hours.
And this is powerful information, because title insurance is really protecting what most people believe is their number one asset.
Yes. Their investment.
Their biggest investment that they're making pretty much in their lifetime might be multiple pieces of property, but it's really protecting that transaction, really, but also their financial wealth or well-being in that situation.
Well, as an example, say somebody has purchased a property and 6 months later they decide they want to put a pool in. So they want to either refinance or they want to go out for a loan.
Sure.
Something comes up on the prelim that says, I'm sorry, but you already have a first and a second. No, we've not done anything with the second. So then that's a reason for them to come back to the title company to make sure that we did our job. There's several sets of eyes that go out, especially when we deliver a policy of title insurance. But it's not impossible for it to get missed. So if it did get missed, then we're responsible.
I think that's such an important part of this interview today, just because the responsibility of where it lies, but you're trying to, really circumvent what's a possible injury to them, if you will, or a financial situation or a loss. I think that's one of those scary things that if you're having your escrow, you're going through escrow and there's an additional loan out there that you have no idea, or you're trying to purchase something else and they're saying, well, you have this additional loan or lien against your property. Well, what is that? Again, that's what you said, that's what your job is. You're the keeper of all the documentation.
Right. And a lot of sellers, if they've been in a property for 30 years or sometimes even longer, they don't recall. Maybe they paid off one of their loans and it didn't get didn't documented or recorded.
Sure.
So it's up to us to make sure that we go back and find out who it was.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
You're like your own detectives.
Yes. Oh, yes, on a daily basis.
Well, you're here on Ways to Love Your Money. It's a money show. It's a respect for money. I think you and I share something that's common about that. So we really want to talk to people about having the respect for what they've been so fortunate to receive, and also to protect all the assets and things that they're trying to build and buy and grow their wealth by. So tell me how you would actually phrase that to the community that's listening right now.
Well, I think that, first of all, you need to start when you are youthful. And looking at what the potential is for your future. I'm on the conservative side, so but I didn't start young. I was probably in my early 30s before I thought about it. So you need to have a plan, and you need to stick with it, and you need to have a budget. And it's just something that you have to follow for the rest of your life. We need to know that we have a point in our life that we want to be secure, and we take care of ourselves at one point in our life. So whenever that may be, if you haven't paid attention to it and you've had a disrespect and you just spend and spend and there's nothing left, that's pretty scary.
It is pretty
So
scary.
I think everybody needs a financial advisor at some point in their life, whether it's putting $50 away a month. You have to have a focus on that.
Right.
It's critical.
I think it's important what you just said too about the budget, to create a budget. In today's day and age, nobody's really thinking about any kind of budget. They're just seeing real time what's on their bank account. They see it on their phone. They say, okay, we have enough money to do this. Well, every time there's a pay raise, it shouldn't be enhancing more lifestyle. It should be enhancing more savings.
Yes.
But it could be a marriage of both. It can be complementing of both sides. But yes, I'd love to have all the 20 and 30-year-olds out there listening or watching the show saying, yes, I need to take a little bit more of a responsible situation when it comes to my relationship with money. Because if you start young, as you've just mentioned, when you start young, life gets a little bit easier. When you're trying to think about retirement, when you're trying to think about what you want to maybe do for your children. Maybe it's college. Maybe it's something that's along the way that you're trying to make sure gets taken care of.
Many hurdles along the way.
Many hurdles. We call it life happens.
Yes.
A lot of life happens along the way.
I
But if
agree
we
with
have
that.
some liquidity and it's not just locked up into something, then we're doing a good job for the money that we've been so fortunate to receive. So you're working, you're doing a great job, you're helping people basically take care of their number one investment that they believe that they have. And is there anything that you want the community of listeners to actually learn from you, from maybe some experience that you've had, whether it's elaborating more on the budget or elaborating more on savings or elaborating more on investing or buying other real estate? Is there anything that you want them to hear that's made a big difference in your life?
Well, I think focus. Just you have to be focused, and as far as your business, you have to take it very seriously.
Sure.
And mine certainly isn't a 5-day-a-week job. It's something that I've invested a lot of time in with myself and my clients.
Okay.
And I think anything you do, you have to get up, you have to show up, you have to be knowledgeable, and you have to pay attention. I don't care if it's a seminar that you go to, whatever it is that's going to enhance what you do and how you help.
Right.
Your clients. To make it more enjoyable also. But to be on top, you have to perform.
Right. I love it. Focus.
You have to have the knowledge, the product knowledge.
Yes.
Just perseverance.
Well, on one last fun note, do you have a fun fact you want to share with me about you?
Oh my
Do
gosh.
you like to skydive? Do you like to?
I love.
Something fun. Is there something fun that you really like to?
I think I have a great sense of humor.
Okay.
And I enjoy my life. That's to start with. I love golf.
Oh, okay.
I love to play golf.
Yeah.
I love dancing. I like music. I love it all. I love to travel.
Okay.
Just spent 10 days in Coeur d'Alene, which
Oh,
was great.
beautiful.
It was boating. Just, adventure.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
Adventure and hard work.
Adventure and hard work.
Yes.
Well, if you work hard, it allows you to play hard.
It does.
And without the
So-
two, it doesn't necessarily work the same way. So, well, great. I'm
Thank
so fortunate that you've been on the show, and
Thank you so
thank you
much.
for sharing your
My
story and
pleasure.
also this incredible advice, because I don't think many people realize the importance of title insurance, but also I think from the life lessons that Ellen has had, it's about the focus and working hard. Think about that, everyone out there. Whether you're a millennial, whether you're between your 40s and 50s and getting ready for retirement, or you're at that age of retirement and you're trying to figure it out, focus, hard work, start early. I can't wait to share this message even with my own children, because it is about focus, working hard, and not just working hard, but playing hard a little bit too. Got to enjoy life along the way, but having that respect for money is really, really important. So again, thank you so much, Ellen. It's been a pleasure to
you're
have you
welcome.
here. And if you have any questions for Ellen, or if you have any questions for me, please give us a call at 619-640-2622. Thanks so much for being a part of Ways to Love Your Money today, and we look forward to seeing you in our next episode to come. Hi, this is Elisabeth Dawson, Ways to Love Your Money, and to all of our podcast listeners and watchers out there, we want to offer you a net worth risk analysis. And what is that? It's going to show you where your risk is today and how you can actually prevent it with strategies that you can implement. So if you would like to get a copy of this from us and go through this process with us, call us at 619-640-2622. We'll probably talk about things you have not thought about, but you need to know where your risk lies in your whole portfolio. Let us know when you're ready, 619-640-2622. The information provided in this show is for informational and educational purposes only. This show is not investment advice, nor is it intended to address the financial needs of any particular viewer. The opinions expressed on this show are not intended to be an endorsement of any particular investment strategy or service of any other kind. You must make an independent decision regarding investments or strategies mentioned throughout the show. Before acting on information in this show, you should consider whether it is suitable for your particular situation and strongly consider seeking advice from a financial advisor.